Chapter 5, Mishnah 1. This Mishnah returns to its description of how the Kohen Gadol offered the Ketores on Yom Kippur. We learned in the previous chapter that after he filled a shovel with coals from the altar, he put the shovel down on the floor near the sanctuary. Chapter 4, Mishnah 3. His next task was to take Ketores out of a different shovel and put it in a golden ladle. We now turn to the words of the Mishnah. They brought the empty ladle and the shovel of Ketores out to him. He scooped up as much Ketores from the shovel as his cupped hands could hold and put it in the ladle. The amount of Ketores that the Kohen Gadol took depended on its size. A large man scooped up a large amount according to the size of his large hands, and a small man scooped up a small amount according to the size of his small hands. And that was the amount of Ketores that he burned inside the Holy of Holies. Having put the Ketores in the ladle, the Kohen Gadol carried the ladle and the shovel of coals into the Holy of Holies. He took the shovel of coals in his right hand and the ladle of Ketores in his left hand and entered the sanctuary. He walked through the sanctuary until he reached the opening between the two curtains that separated the Holy from the Holy of Holies, and there was one amma between the curtains. But Rabbi Yossi says there was only one curtain, as it is stated in Exodus chapter 26, verse 33, and the curtain shall divide for you between the Holy and the Holy of Holies. The first Tana describes the entrance to the Holy of Holies and continues the narrative. The outer one, i.e. the curtain to the east, which was farther from the Holy of Holies, was folded back and fastened at the south to create an opening through which the Kohen Gadol could enter the space between the two curtains. And the inner one, i.e. the curtain to the west, which was nearer the Holy of Holies, was folded back and fastened at the north to create an opening through which the Kohen Gadol could enter the Holy of Holies. After the Kohen Gadol went through the opening at the south, he walked between the curtains until he reached the opening at the north. When he reached the opening at the north, he entered the Holy of Holies and turned to the south. He walked southward with the curtain on his left and the ark on his right until he reached the northern pole of the ark. When he reached the northern pole of the ark, he placed the shovel of coals on the floor between the two poles. He then poured the Ketores from the ladle into his cupped hands. Then he heaped the Ketores from his hands onto the coals and waited until the entire chamber was filled with smoke. He left the Holy of Holies the way he entered and recited a short prayer in the outer chamber, i.e., the Holy. But he did not prolong his prayer so as not to frighten the Jewish people, who in the event of delay would be afraid that he had died.